if you drink water, you're going to know that water is like, woohoo! Yes! And that's what water is. And then, if you drink like Coca-Cola, it is like, I have a sore stomach, can somebody please help me? So the difference is that you go, woohoo! And you go, oh, I have a sore stomach, can someone please help me? Yes, water is life. Basically, the water of life is that water is definitely life and Coca-Cola is death. But not exactly. See, the thing is that Coca-Cola has a recommended daily allowance. So that means that you can drink water and Coca-Cola. And the recommended daily allowance is because that is what your body is able to cope with without it causing any complications for you. So therefore, Coca-Cola can be enjoyed, but enjoyed responsibly. Usually it's alcohol that you're going to really here enjoy responsibly. But the truth is that most foods need to be enjoyed responsibly. Just like, meat doesn't need to be enjoyed at all. So essentially, meat is the most stupid thing to eat that we eat, eating dead animals. That sounds like a perfect idea. Well, it's not. Because basically all you have to do is put a big fence around the countryside and then you start eating the animals, and it's called livestock. So basically you're eating stock that is alive, once was alive, and then it's dead for you to eat it. So just like livestock's not a good idea to eat it, and we should tear down all the fences in the countryside and turn the countryside into a beautiful wildlife reserve, and clean up the oceans from all the plastic and rubbish and stuff. We should turn the countryside into a wildlife reserve by tearing down all the fences and not eating meat. Now this wasn't what this video was supposed to be about. The video was supposed to be about, but water is life, and drinking water is actually like miracle juice to somebody who is not too far gone in unhealthy eating or drinking such things as alcohol habit. Yes, miracle water is a miracle liquid, as long as you're not too far gone into a healthy diet, especially using alcohol. Now, most people drink a lot of water and don't bother with other things. I tend to be someone who drinks a lot of other things and no water. But at the new place that I'm staying, there is a water fountain, and I happily drink from that water fountain regularly. And some days I forget to, or there's no cups. I notice the difference on the days that I drink the water and the days that I don't drink the water. Like yesterday, I tried to make this video, and I didn't drink any water for a few days. And basically, making this video, it felt like a task that was laden with too much pressure, too much effort, and it was just complete hassle to do this video. Whereas when I drank water all day today, I've been drinking water since I woke up this morning at 11 o'clock, and I will tell you that this video is so much easier to make. Like, making the video was like, woo! Whereas yesterday it was like, I don't want to make a video, I haven't drank any water in 5 days. Now basically, as you get older, it is more and more true that you need to refine your diet to suit your lifestyle, especially because you're going to be an idol and an influence to the people below you the older you get. The younger you are, you're also not an influence to anyone. So your diet isn't really that important. But it's also because your body is getting beaten, battered and bruised through an unhealthy diet as you're younger, and as you get older, your body starts to react to that bruising and battering, and it's time to heed the warning signs and put your diet into shape. And that's it. That's basically it. Heed warning signs and for your diet, and you should be able to save yourself from any irreparable damage or any long-term damage. Basically your diet is important. According to some according to some video, this guy had bangers and mash or something for 5 years or something, and he got some terrible complicated illness. I don't believe that bangers and mash would do that, and I think that it was either a bullshit fake news story. Most likely it was a bullshit fake news story, because bangers and mash is actually not that unhealthy a diet, except for the meat part, you know. That, why do you need to kill a pig and eat it? Why do you need to kill it? Why do you need to eat dead animals? Why do you need to have livestock? Well, we could imagine that whenever livestock used to be a practice, we went out and hunted it and killed it for your tribesmen, that you were only killing one animal every week for a tribe, and your tribe might have been 100 to 200 size tribe or bigger, or maybe even 5,000 people eating one pig. Nowadays it's 5 people eating 5,000 pigs. So meat should just become obsolete, and considering there is so many different alternatives to meat now, vegetarian alternatives to meat now. You need meat, you don't need it. It doesn't need to exist anymore. The whole point with what this was water, but you think about it, there's so many vegetarian alternatives to meat, and there's 5,000 people used to eat one pig, whereas there's now 5 people eating 5,000 pigs. It's time to just knock it on the head and forget eating meat altogether. Which means that all you vegans and vegetarians like me need to get out into the countryside and tear down those fences for hemming in the livestock, and let the farmers build a natural nature reserve environment and watering holes to keep the livestock in the right area to make managing them easier. And when I say livestock, it'll then become only for hunting and gatherers, and that will be very rare because there's very little hunters in most countries, and those would have to be very responsible hunters, and probably not encouraging any new hunters. Just hunters from hunters that already exist, and ban any new registrations for hunters, because the number of hunters is probably a bit too many to keep the nature reserve in a good situation. However, maybe hunters could be managed at a number that is suitable to keep the environment as if we are in a natural known 5 versus 5,000 pig environment, you know? So that as if we are living 5,000 years ago or something, to create the countryside, to only have that amount of hunters allowed to be existing at any one time. I suppose you could never get rid of hunters altogether, and maybe you could, but then you would have to have culls. And I would say culls would be worse than having the occasional hunter or a limited number of hunters. You could have a limited number of hunters and put checkpoints for hunting. And if a hunter doesn't use their checkpoint in 6 months, they lose their hunter's license for the next year, so that somebody else can be a hunter for a year. And that's how you could keep the countryside perfectly well. Adapt to technology from today for the hunters to make the to make a checkpoint for their hunting license, and if they don't go hunting in the 6 month period, well then when they go to buy their ammo as well. When they go to buy their ammo, they have to scan their hunting stuff. And then basically you leave it as if it's a natural hunting environment like 5,000 years ago. Not this terribly commercialized slaughtering of animals and stuffing it onto a plate and charging extortionate amounts of money for it. To make it a comfortable a representation of natural hunter-gatherers that modern society has basically made obsolete if you won't turn the countryside into a nature reserve by turning down all the fences. There you go, vegan and vegans. You can probably never ever cancel hunting altogether if you want to avoid a cull. So if you ban hunting altogether, you'll have to have a cull every now and again to keep the numbers, and that's not going to be a very nice thing for people to experience. So we would then obviously opt for hunting to have a limited number of people with adapting to new technology for them to be able to allow the hunter gather population to be managed. Or if they could surrender their weapons and agree to no hunting and to taking part in a cull every now and again, which I don't agree with. I don't think the cull every now and again is a better alternative to managing the number of hunters. Anyway, there you go. That was supposed to be about water, but it also contains my idea about hunters. One of my next videos coming up, I'm going to be talking about I'm going to tell you, my next topic is just £1 for homeless people. How just £1 in everyone's bedside table or their doorside table will solve homelessness forever and ever, and you will never be homeless ever again. I hope you enjoy drinking water, and if you're a person that doesn't drink water, do believe the hype. Once you get older, you'll find if you don't drink water, your body will start to let you know. So you are going to have to do it. I wish you luck, my fellow Coca-Cola drinkers, but don't forget, you don't have to stop drinking other things completely. You do just have to make sure you drink more water as you get older, because your body starts to be responsive. You're also luckily that also is inclined. Seems to be when these kids are getting older and starting to notice that you're a role model and you're an idol, and your body's reaction so happens to also be in timing with becoming a role model and an idol. Because when you're starting to get older is whenever you're thought of as an idol, you're thought of as a role model. When you're in your 20s or 30s, you're not thought of as a role model. You start hitting 30, mid-30s, 40s, you're a role model and an idol, and you must be doing the right things. Luckily, our bodies are responsive to that in relation to what we're doing. So keep your diet well. However, when you're young, you might as well make the most of not really needing to. And don't believe the hype in the fake news stories. Someone eating bangers and mash for 5 years. And at 15 years old and they were dead at 20 is obviously bullshit, fake story lies, but it's obviously a great motivator for people who are struggling with diet issues. And there you go. We're seeing a lot of fake news in recent years, and the day that they just admit that they're talking shite and that they'll stop telling lies forever and ever, the better, because the news stories that they've already lied about will all be effective, whether they reveal them as lies or not. And they don't have to reveal exactly what stories were lies. They just have to tell us. But if they don't, they don't. And if they do, they do. But what good becomes of someone who is supposed to be your friend telling you lies constantly? It's bound to lead to more and more misery, and God knows what could happen if they don't. So there's many things I just talked about. Turning the countryside into a nature reserve, turning drinking water as you get older, how drinking water becomes more and more important, but you can still drink other things as long as you drink less than usual and more water. And obviously there's the fake news thing, which you'll hear me talking about a lot, because all my videos are going to basically maybe talk about fake news until the word is out there good and proper, and that people can get the newspapers to just give up the fake news and stop telling us that some guy threw his baby in the river and walked into the pub and drank a pint. Obviously it's fake news, but but there's taking the piss out of us, and there's lying to us for trying to create a result. But lies eventually lead to a conundrum, and nobody knows what that conundrum is. So I recommend to tell the truth. We have been lying, and from now on, all stories will have 100% credible sources. Good luck, guys. Enjoy drinking water, and don't forget also enjoy Coca-Cola. Oh, just coming back to the video for a second to say, I was saying there that you have to have a good work-life balance. So basically, water is work and Coca-Cola is life. Have a good work-life balance. Yeah, it also comes down to your diet. I also just asked someone how old they are and what is the deal with drinking water. They're 25 and they still haven't come to the part where water is so important for them to drink, that their body is nearly telling them to do it, or you're going to internally combust. Good luck, much love. Marky Mark 101, markrafferty.com. Yo.